The US has started to force limitations on commodities of cutting-edge chips important for AI-related applications to Russia and China, hindering the offer of the semiconductors that power frameworks sold by any semblance of AMD and Nvidia without a permit. Nvidia unveiled Wednesday that it had gotten a warning from the US government that new permitting prerequisites are being carried out that influence deals of its high-level line of server GPUs to Russia or China. AMD affirmed that it got a comparable warning from the US for a line of GPUs that are appropriate for performing AI-related figuring. Nvidia's revelation shows that the new commodity controls are not focused on the particular chips themselves, but rather at the presentation edges firmly connected with Nvidia A100 processors, the ongoing age of chips sent in the field. The controls influence AMD's contending item, the MI200. Wednesday's revelation is another sign that the US is going through a critical change in its way to deal with China and its capacity to make and utilize advanced chips. Under the Biden organization, the US Business Department has carried out another standard that would impede the production of chip plan programming that is important to construct the up-and-coming age of chips. Some portion of the organization's reasoning spins around its arrangement to interfere with admittance to the innovation required for AI-related applications. While we're not in that frame of mind to frame explicit strategy changes right now, we are adopting an extensive strategy to execute extra activities essential connected with innovations, end users and end clients to safeguard US public safety and international strategy interests, the Commerce Department said in an explanation. This incorporates forestalling China's procurement and utilization of US innovation with regards to its military common combination program to fuel its tactical modernization endeavors, lead denials of basic liberties, and empower other defame exercises. The organization likewise plans to hamper China's capacity to produce chips with an ongoing age of semiconductors called FinFETs, known as balance field impact semiconductors, by interfering with admittance to the gear expected to create such chips. FinFET plans have been normal for a long time and are right now found in the most recent cell phone and server processors. China addresses a critical part of Nvidia's deals and, as per an SEC recording, could influence as much as $400 million in quarterly deals. In a proclamation, Nvidia said that it was working with clients in China to redirect its buyers to elective items and may look for a permit where substitutions wouldn't work. AMD sells far fewer AI chips in China and doesn't completely accept the limitations would substantially affect its income. Nvidia stock falls on China curbs. Nvidia stock tumbled almost 7% in short-term exchange. The chip monster said in an SEC recording that the public authority has forced new permit necessities on server farm chip deals to China and Russia, referring to worries about military end use. Nvidia, which doesn't at present sell items to Russia, said the limitations could influence $400 million in deals. The US government is progressively forcing checks on very good quality chip innovation in China. Nvidia rival Advanced Micro Devices (AMD) comparative notification from the US overselling China different GPUs with AI utilities. AMD stock fell 4% in late exchange. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing (TSM), which makes Nvidia chips, declined by 2%. Unadulterated Storage (PSTG) featured short-term income. PSTG stock hopped on surprisingly good income as well as income direction. Shares fell 1.8% to 28.97 on Wednesday, shutting simply over the 200-day line. PSTG stock might test a 31.62 purchase point from a cup with handle base. China EV sales. Early Thursday, Chinese EV new companies NIO, Li Auto, and XPeng Motors will report August conveyance information. EV and battery monster BYD will probably write about Friday or Saturday. NIO stock, alongside portions of Li Auto, XPeng, BYD, and Tesla, is battling at present. With the market rally so powerless, financial backers ought to be careful about new buys and act to decrease openness. In any case, they ought to be searching for likely pioneers for their watch lists. Enphase Energy, Pinduoduo, and NBIX stock are uniting pleasantly with relative strength lines at 2022 highs. Enphase Energy and PSTG stock are on the IBD 50 rundown. ENPH stock is likewise on the IBD Big Cap 20. Neurocrine Biosciences was Wednesday's IBD stock of the day. Dow Jones Futures today. Dow Jones Fate fell 0.2% versus fair value. S&P 500 prospects sank 0.55% and Nasdaq 100 Fates declined 0.95%. with AMD and Nvidia stock burdening the S&P 500 and Nasdaq prospects. Recall that short-term activity on Dow fades and somewhere else doesn't be guaranteed to convert into genuine exchanging the following standard financial exchange meeting. Stock market rally. The Securities Exchange rally attempted to satisfy its name at Wednesday's opening, yet the significant files immediately erased off, shutting at meeting lows. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 0.9% on Wednesday's Securities Exchange. The S&P 500 list declined 0.8%. The Nasdaq Composite fell 0.6%. The little cap Russell 2000 additionally pulled back 0.6%. US raw petroleum's cost fell 2.3% to $89.55 a barrel. The 10-year Treasury yield rose 2 premise focuses to 3.13%. Among the best ETFs, the Innovator IBD 50 ETF plunged 0.4%. The iShares Expanded Tech Software Sector ETF and VanEck Vector Semiconductor ETF fell 0.7%. Nvidia and AMD stock are major SMH properties. The SPDR S&P Metals and Mining ETF declined 0.8%. The SPDR S&P Home Builders ETF withdrew 1.2%. The Energy Select SPDR ETF surrendered 0.9%. The Healthcare Select Sector SPDR Fund dropped 0.6%. Reflecting more theoretical story stocks, ARK Innovation ETF pushed down 0.1%, while ARK Genomics ETF climbed 1.3%. Tesla stock is a significant holding across ARK Invest's ETFs. Cathie Wood's ARK likewise possesses some NEO and BYD stock. Stocks to watch. Enphase stock edged up 0.2% to 286.44 on Wednesday, actually uniting throughout recent weeks, holding support at the 21-day moving normally. That comes after shares flooded on Enphase's late July profits. The blue RS line in the graphics given is holding right at record highs. That reflects ENPH stock's outperformance versus the S&P 500 record. PGD stock hopped 7.2% on Wednesday to 71.3, clearing a 68.81 cut-based purchase point, as indicated by MarketSmith's examination. That follows Monday's 15% spike in Pinduoduo profit, with shares momentarily clearing the purchase point that day. The RS line for Pinduoduo stock is at combination highs, right at the best levels since last November. While PDD stock is in a purchase zone, it's 28% over the 50-day line. NBIX stock rose 1.3% to 104.63, skipping marginally from its 21-day line. Shares have pulled back somewhat from August 9 high of 109.26. That high covered a major profit breakout. NBIX stock could frame another base, however, would be noteworthy from breaking a trend line in the ongoing short solidification. The RS line is at a 52-week high. BYD stock. In the interim, BYD will probably report August deals on Friday or Saturday. July deals of EVs and module half and halves flooded 222% versus a year earlier to 162,350. There are signs that BYD will establish one more standard in August. In September, BYD will start conveyances of the Seal, a Tesla Model 3 opponent beginning for $10,000 less. In the following couple of days, BYD will start Atto 3 conveyances in Australia, part of an enormous global development that will incorporate quite a bit of Europe. On Monday, BYD announced first half income significantly increased versus a year sooner, with deals up 60%. That sent offers unobtrusively higher. Be that as it may, BYD stock plunged 7.8% on Tuesday, trailed by a deficiency of 4.35% to 30.75 on Wednesday. Portions of the EV and battery Goliath have cut underneath the 200-day moving normally in the wake of hitting a record 43.61 on June 28th. The impetus? Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway said on August 30th that it sold 1.33 million H shares on August 24th in Hong Kong, under 1% of its huge BYD stock stake. Berkshire possesses somewhat under 8% of BYD, yet there is the worry that it will continue to sell shares. What to do now? The market rally stays under tension for the present, yet the shortcoming is self-evident. Financial backers ought to be hoping to take benefits and cut misfortunes as opposed to adding openness. Work on your watch lists. Keep on searching for potential arrangements, yet make a point to monitor quality stocks with high relative strength, regardless of whether the diagrams aren't as yet ready. In any case, stocks can beat in a frail market until they flounder out of nowhere. What's more, relative champs can in any case be outright failures. With this, we'd like to end this video with the hope that you liked and enjoyed it. If you like our content, make sure that you like our video and do share your views and opinions with us in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel to receive regular videos from us, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one. Until then, peace.